Hi everyone, welcome back to the best recapped movie. Brick Mansions is one of the last movies in which Paul Walker played a role, and we will talk about it today. Spoilers ahead. At first, the television broadcasts the news about one of the areas of the city of Detroit, called Brick Buildings, where the police have quarantined it due to the presence of murders and illegal activities. And traffic has been controlled there. Unable to control the crime, city officials build a colossal, 40 feet tall containment wall around this area, known as Brick Mansions, the Projects, or the No-Go Zone, to cut it off from the rest of the city. The mayor of Detroit talks about constructing his new project in the location of brick buildings and promises to return Detroit to its former glory.
What future do you envision for the people currently living there?
Will be taken care of.
At the location of the brick buildings, Lino opens a bag containing many drug packages and pours the drugs into a bathtub. At the same time, a black man named K2 kills two of Lino's guards with the help of Reza, and he and the rest of the group enter the building. Lino also destroys all the drugs in the bathtub before they arrive. They find Lino's house, but before they can open the door, Lino breaks down the door and tries to escape. Reza and K2 get very angry after seeing this scene, and Lino manages to run after a fight with the criminals and a long chase despite throwing escape from them. Police officer Damien Collier investigates a Detroit drug gang and draws a line on one of them. K2 asks George the Greek, another drug gangster, to give him 20 kilos of drugs so that his boss doesn't find out about their theft by Lino. Damien, who infiltrated George's group, agrees to enter the area of brick buildings and carry out this mission.
A handle needs handling.
George and Damien enter the drug manufacturing kitchen and ask the workers to prepare 20 kilos. At the same time, the police know their location through Damien. When George realizes the police are watching them, he kills one of his men, thinking he will expose him.
What the hell are you doing?
Nobody move!
Damien immediately grabs George and asks everyone to surrender.
Put him in the tank!
After the fight, George runs away, and Damien follows them and hangs from the back of the car near the police station. He taking the driver's place, he breaks, and George is thrown into the police station and finally arrested.
I'm Detective Collier. Undercover narcotics.
K2 and Reza go to their boss Tremaine, and he blames K2 for losing 20 kilos of drugs. Before killing him, K2 promises to find Lino's girlfriend and bring her to him. After completing the mission, Damien removed the glass from his eyes and showered. Tomorrow morning he goes to his grandfather and blames him for smoking too much. His grandfather shows Damien the news of George's arrest in the newspaper, and Damien talks to his grandfather about how close he got to Tremaine and how he can get revenge on him.
Revenge and justice are not the same thing.
On the other hand, K2 and Reza go to Lola, Lino's girlfriend, who works in a cafe. Lola decides to run away, but finally, K2 stops her and throws her into the car's trunk. They bring him to the Adobe buildings, then Reza tries to tease her, but Tremaine arrives. Tremaine tells her he won't let her go until Lino comes, but Lola says she hasn't seen Lino in a year. At the same time, Lino suddenly comes from above and threatens Tremaine with a gun.
Move!
You too.
He asks Lino to negotiate, and Lino says that his negotiation is only that you stop selling drugs in the neighborhood.
Stop selling dope in the neighborhood.
Lino and Lola threaten Tremaine into the car, and after a chase by the thugs, they hand over Tremaine to the police, who are at the border of the brick buildings. But the police chief imprisons Lino in disbelief, and Tremaine takes Lola as a hostage to their headquarters. Lino, who is very angry because of Lola and the corruption among the police, immediately kills him when he meets the police chief. After that, Damien is called by the mayor. There, the mayor praises the death of Damien's father as the leader of the last attack on the brick buildings and says that after his death, they were forced to build a separate border. Then Major Reno talks about the mob attack and stealing a missile from the security guard. The rocket will be activated if used in the wrong place and must be neutralized as soon as possible. They ask Damien to break into the brick buildings and defuse the nitrogen bomb in Tremaine's hand with the code they give him. He is also told to use Lino, a French immigrant, to achieve the goal because he has spent many years in brick buildings. The mayor also tells him he has only 10 hours to do this. They put Damien as a prisoner, and Damien saves himself with a predetermined plan. Then he opens Lino's bracelet. At first, they fight over the car, but eventually, Damien takes her with him. Damien says his destination is the brick buildings in Tremaine because he killed one of his friends, and Lino says he took his ex-girlfriend hostage.
Better buckle up.
With his speed and good driving, Damien manages to cross the separation border, but they crash into an obstacle. Then Lino realizes that Damien is a policeman and handcuffs him.
Come on, help me get out of here. What am I supposed to do?
After Lino leaves, Damien is attacked by neighborhood mobs and manages to escape after a fight with them. On the other hand, K2 and the rest of the gang are playing computer games when Tremaine arrives. He gives Lola a drink and says that Lino has escaped from prison, and at the same time, Lino is watching Lola with a camera. Suddenly, Damien arrives and handcuffs him. Lino asks Damien how he found him, and Damien answers that he did it by GPS. Damien says that to save thousands of lives, he has to neutralize the weapon that Tremaine got because not all people who live in brick buildings are mobsters. After hearing Damien's words, Lino is influenced by him and asks Damien to help him with this task and save his girlfriend. And Damien also accepts his offer and opens his bracelet. He asks for Damien's phone, calls Tremaine, and says he's coming.
Tremaine, it's Lino, coming over.
Then we see Reza harassing Lola. In this case, Lola secretly opens her bracelet, and Reza gets involved, who finally throws the chain around Lola's neck after a hard fight. The mob takes Damien and Lino to Tremaine while threatening them at gunpoint. Tremaine is surprised by Lino's early return. Damien also introduces himself as Lino's driver, but Lino says he is a policeman. They then talk about the bomb, and Tremaine shows it to them. Damien realizes that he only has 47 minutes, and on the other hand Lino gets angry seeing Lola and plans to attack when the mobs control him. After that, Tremaine asks Damien for the government officials to deposit $30 million into his account. Otherwise, he will send the rocket to the center of the city. Lino says your conscience agrees to kill all those people, and Tremaine only thinks about money. Damien accepts his offer and calls Beringer to deposit the money. Still, he does not accept and says that the government cannot pay now and the bomb must be neutralized. Even though the call ends, Damien continues to talk. He falsely pretends that they accepted the bet and the money will be deposited into Tremaine's account as soon as the bank opens. Tremaine also imprisons them until the money is deposited. After that, Damien tells Lino the truth in a quiet voice. Lino asks him about Damien's friend being killed by Tremaine. Damien says that person was his father and was killed by Tremaine and his men while leading a drug operation. They make an escape plan in which Lino pretends to be sick. On the other hand, Tremaine delivers the bomb, and K2 also talks about how they stole the bomb easily and without any trouble, which worries Tremaine. Back to Damien and Lino, where they outsmart Tremaine's men. They first get into a car, and after a chase, they crash due to a sniper shot and are forced to take shelter in a crash bus. K2 sees Lino and orders his men to shoot, and they shell the bus. Of course, after checking, they realize they escaped through the hatch on the bus floor. Damien and Lino once again save themselves from Tremaine's men and attack him after the sniper shoots again. At the same time, Tremaine notices that after opening the bank, not only has no money been deposited into his account, but his accounts are emptying. He decides to shoot the bomb when suddenly Damien shoots the bomb transmitter with a sniper, and the bomb control does not work. Damien tries to take Reza away from Lola with a few more shots, but he runs out of bullets.
I gotta shoot the sheriff and the deputy.
The mayor and government officials realize that the launch mechanism was shot, and the mayor says we are still in the game. On the other hand, Tremaine, while very angry, incites his men to fight against Lino and Damien. Tremaine goes to the roof to mechanically activate the bomb and asks the bodyguard Hecklish Yeti to block the stairs. On the other hand, they both escape to the top of a building, and Lino suggests to Damien that they jump from a height. After that, Lino and Damien encounter the Yeti, and they have no choice but to fight him. Luckily, they manage to shoot down the Yeti with difficulty and after a lot of effort. With only 6 minutes left until the automatic explosion of the time bomb, Tremaine decides to send it to the middle of the city. Still, he looks at the city at the last moment and changes his decision. He talks to Reza about the fact that he is a businessman, does not want to harm the city's people, and asks her to evacuate the place as soon as possible. But Reza doesn't agree, says I'll do it myself, and shoots Tremaine in a fight. Lola immediately uses her legs to attack Reza. While Reza is hanging from a height, she releases her to fall. At the same time, Lino and Damien arrive, and Damien asks Lino to enter the code, then decides to kill Tremaine. Damien blames Tremaine for his father's death and wants to take revenge, but Tremaine says that he didn't kill his father, and his men shot him in the back, but Damien doesn't believe him. The code is sent to Lino, but Lino suspects it and says it is a trap. Tremaine says they played you like your father, and Damien punches him. Lino says that everyone will be killed by entering the code, but Damien insists on his request. They argue with each other over this issue, and at the last moment, Lino reminds him that even the truck carrying the bomb was not damaged. Finally, Damon is convinced not to enter the code, and nothing happens after the time runs out. After that, he is disgusted with his police badge and throws it away, saying that he will make Detroit a safe place. The government officials are upset because of the non-explosion of the bomb and say that if there had been an explosion, they would have heard it. Damien, together with Lino and the people of the neighborhood of brick buildings, all attack the municipal building. They take the elevator to the mayor's room and engage with their bodyguards. After them, Tremaine enters the room with the bomb and places it on the mayor's desk. Damien enters all the code numbers except the last digit and asks the mayor to enter the last digit himself. They force him to tell the truth by pressuring him. The mayor says that he sent that bomb there to eliminate his problems. He calls the people in the brick buildings animals, and this upsets Tremaine, and he says that you are the animals. Damien takes the microphone out of his pocket, shows the cameraman outside, and says people hate you. They leave the room while Damien says you will see it on the news in 5 minutes, and K2 also smiles at the mayor. Then we hear that the news broadcasts the news about the demolition of the separation wall and also talks about the reopening of the school and the police department as well as the hospitals there. Damien meets Lola and Lino, teaching the kids. He says that Raderman, who is running for mayor, gave him his new car to get his vote, and Lino says that he spends most of his time with Lola and kisses her. At the movie's end, Damien visits his grandfather while he quits smoking, and they hug each other. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel.